We've got quorum. Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District on October 22nd at 9:02 a.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Carr. Here. Daniels.
Here.
Frost. Here. Gaylord.
Here.
Guerra.
Here.
Hanson. Harris. Kennedy.
Here.
Lamson. Lee.
Here.
Natoli. Peters. Cerna.
Here.
Terry. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Could you please read the Board Clerk announcements for those watching on prime time?
Yes. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T UVerse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated on Saturday, August 24th at 2 p.m. and Sunday, August 25th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker form located on the table at the back of the chambers and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Also, at this time, please silence your cell phones until the conclusion of today's meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If everybody could rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll go on to the first item on the agenda.
Sure. The first item on the agenda is the Air Pollution Control Officer's Report, and I have Dr. Alberto Ayala to give the presentation.
Dr. Ayala, thanks for allowing us to shift you from one meeting to the next.
No worries, Chair. Good morning, Board. It's a pleasure. As the Chair alluded to, this is basically a recycling of the report from last meeting with a couple of updates. So if you would indulge me, let me walk you through a few points of general interest for you as our Board. The first one is, again, a critical element of our funding solutions that we are bringing you later this year. Obviously, all of you are familiar with Measure A. We went before the STA board, along with all the other jurisdictions that are included in Measure A. We made our presentation, talked about our unmet need in terms of funding and the things that we could do and need to do if the measure goes forward. But I want to turn it over to Mr. Lautzenheiser. I was not able to make the STA board meeting due to another commitment. So our leadership was there to present to STA board.
Thank you, Board. So just a fairly quick update on this. I know that a number of you also serve on the STA board, so I don't want to completely recap too much and have you get bored with my voice on this one. But we did go through and discuss as part of both the accomplishments that we have been doing over the last several years with the existing Measure A funding that we've had, which really touches upon a number of areas that relate to the vehicular traffic and the roadway emissions. So it's everything from our ambient air quality monitoring and the different network that we have. It also touches upon some of our newer 617 efforts going on in dedicated communities that are disadvantaged and very much impacted by sources of pollution. It's about the opportunity for the leveraging that we've been doing with our Measure A funds on our incentive dollars. And the great success we've had with using the Measure A funds to help us go ahead and bring in everything from MOIR, CCAT, GMERP, the new cap and trade dollars that are coming in. It's about using the resources that we've done on the land use and the ability to provide comments to a lot of your jurisdictions on planning elements, making sure that projects going in are good long-term projects and not going to exacerbate some of the challenges that we already have here in the region. And it's also about the outreach that we do from our communications team, especially during the spare the air season this summer. Fortunately, we haven't had to call as many so far this summer, but we're heading into some more hot weather. And so I know that's very highly utilized both by the community, schools, individuals that are out there in the area. We also have already provided our 5-year expenditure plan for the current Measure A and about what we're looking forward to continuing with the new Measure A going forward. With that, if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Is there any questions from the board? The only comment I would make on this, thank you for presenting that day, is that, we need to think about, when we look at transportation planning, also the impacts that have in the long run, particularly to our environment and our health. And for so long, I think, historically, we've only worried about the brick and mortar and not the unintended consequences about our land use decisions. So with that, since there are no other items, Mr. Air Pollution Control Officer, you can move on to the next item.
Thank you. We'll move along. Another item that I want to highlight for you is one of our interests is also to strengthen the identity and the presence we as an agency have in the community. And our communications office enabled a SACRT train to get a wrap with our district message and logo. I don't know if you've seen the train. It looks great. We're using existing funding for public education and outreach to essentially work with our friends at Sacramento RT to again, have a more visible community presence in terms of what we do and our mission for the region. We have been out in the community. You've all heard about AB 617, the Community Air Protection Program. It is a very significant new mandate that we are implementing in the community. And a lot of what we're doing is literally that, is having a presence in events like the National Night Out. This was a particular event that Director Cerna pointed us out to, and this is where we are going to be doing a lot of our outreach about these new clean air programs. So anything that you are planning on doing, anything that you have as far as your constituents and your communities where you think that the Air District should be present to share some of the opportunities and, frankly, the promise of AB 617, let us know and we'll make it happen. Our team is ready to be out there. I also want to give you an update on another of our funding solutions that we will be bringing to you, and that is simply just to let you know where we are on the discussion with all of our 8 jurisdictions on the per capita fee funding idea. Thanks to your direction, we are basically almost done. We have one more jurisdiction to meet with. That is Ileton, and that is coming soon, but we met with pretty much everybody. Thank you all who participated in those conversations. We made it a point to make sure that we have the respective board representative in the conversations we've been having with typically budget directors, city managers, executive leadership at the various jurisdictions. And we have been fairly pragmatic in terms of presenting data, numbers, presenting as neutral as possible the budget situation, which we have discussed with you, and discussing this per capita concept and how it fits into the overall funding solutions that we'll bring in before you later this year. Another thing that I want to acknowledge and make you aware of, and certainly I want to thank Director Lamson for making it out to support us, is you hear us talk about future mobility and the transformation of transportation to zero emission solutions. I think part of that is also engaging in demonstrating that the technology is real, that technology is here, that technology is affordable and ready to go. And one of the ways that we do that is working with our partners to do these technology showcases. In this particular case, we were out at Mather in June, and we had a whole host of different heavy-duty equipment and vehicles. And again, the idea is so that the folks that are out there making purchasing decisions for their fleets, for their businesses, can kick the tires and really see the technology and the superior benefits that it can deliver. And obviously, the benefit for us, why we care, is because this has no pollution associated with operation. And again, when we have things like this, we like to have your participation to the extent that you can. We know you're busy, you're pulling in many different directions, but I think it's great for us to be out there with your support. I'm glad to have in the room Supervisor Serna and the Vice Mayor, also Mr. Lemos to my left. We were all fortunate to have been able to go to Aachen, Germany recently in the SMUTS-led delegation to discuss the California Mobility Center. So rather than me talking about it, I want to tee it up and give you both an opportunity. This can be your AB 1234 report, and then anything that Mr. Lemos can add.
I'll go ahead and start off. Board Member Serna, he went in a couple capacities, not only as our Board of Supervisors, but as a CARB member.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is the second trip that we made in 8 months to Aachen, Germany, to continue and kind of refine the conversations we're having with PEM Motion, and this time was a little more. There was a little more emphasis on understanding the value proposition of the model that they've deployed there to really take advantage and exploit in a good way the relationship that the city of Aachen has with its university, and certainly with commerce centered around kind of the electric propulsion and autonomous vehicle space. I think what we're attempting to do here is there are several things, but I think one of them is really not reinventing the wheel. We want to take advantage of success stories that have taken shape across the globe, and this is one of them. But at the same time, I think there's a real opportunity to actually attract investment to help us get this center started here. This has a multitude of potential positive impacts for not just the city and county, but I'd say the entire region of Northern California in terms of taking advantage of especially the executive orders that took place with the previous administration that are being recognized almost on a daily basis at the California Air Resources Board, and that is to help expand the markets for zero-emission vehicles and certainly be at the leading edge of autonomous technology. So I want to really say thank you to our Vice Mayor, Eric Guerra, for really being the plow blade, the leader of this effort from the elective standpoint. And I want to thank our esteemed leader of the district, Dr. Ayala, and his very capable staff for being very focused on this. I think this is a real opportunity that in the not too distant future we can be very proud of.
Thank you, Board Member Serna. I wanted to also thank all the partners there. When we went there, it wasn't just the city of Sacramento and the county and the Air District. We also had Arlen Orchard from SMUD and his executive team. We had the chancellor of the Los Rios Community College District and his folks. We had the provost and the department chair of the College of Engineering of the Sac State. We had one of the vice presidents of UC Davis and their mechanical engineering faculty there, along with our economic development staff. And the real, I think, the real takeaway here is that this city, in Aachen, Germany, was able to transform the region and looking at smart mobility, air quality as their goal, to create an entirely new industry where it was a manufacturing city that had been impacted by globalization. Now they have become the leaders and created a lot of technology. And I think that for us here as a board, when we're talking about regions, not only do we want a region with cleaner air, but we also want we know where the future is going, and we want to be able to have those jobs. We want to be able to train and have that workforce, and they were able to do that in a very, what may seem long to some folks, but a 6 to 10 years of time to be able to transform an entire region. And I think the takeaway will be here is that we with the California Mobility Center, which SMUD just incorporated recently, we will be able to address air quality, jobs, and workforce training, which for a region. So that's been exciting, and that'll be my AB 1, 2, 3, or 4 report. And thank you again, Mr. Lemus, for being there as well.
I just want to, before we leave the item, just want to give a shout out, well-deserved shout out to GSAC too, and Barry Broom.
Yes.
Our Greater Sacramento Economic Council has been very, very involved and has made this a top priority for that organization as well.
And certainly, let's not forget that our good partners at SACOG were also participants. That's right.
Yeah, exciting. Yeah, the one last thing I'll point on this was what we saw there was the ability for multiple cities to work together, not just Aachen, but to find different warehouse space, manufacturing space, pulling from jobs, resources. That was the exciting part about this. Well, thank you very much, Mr. If there's no questions, we'll go back to our pollution control officer report.
And just to make a finer point, put a finer point on this, why as an air district are we interested in this? Obviously, we're not an agency that is going to fund a manufacturing facility. One of the aspects here is technology and policy development. We need to understand the potential for technologies that can be developed at the California Mobility Center to help us advance in our clean air and low carbon goals. Why? Because then we can use that to leverage, working through Supervisor Cerna, some of the state policies that could actually promote this type of development. We talked about incentives and some of the things that we can do locally. We need to understand the potential of how this could potentially fit into that future. I'm glad again to have Supervisor Cerna here today. A pleasant surprise. We also had. I'm really proud of this program because again, this is an example of what we can do as a leading agency with your support. This is a new program that is enabled by state cap and trade dollars. And we call it innovation because we're really trying to change the paradigm in terms of, can we envision a future where we don't have to depend on fossil fuel combustion to get around? But even better, can we envision a future where we can use innovative mobility solutions and micro-mobility to get around without having to depend on a vehicle, right? Clean Cars for All was launched. We had a big press event. Again, not only do we want to get the word out in the community that we're open for business, but also, again, it's this theme of having a very viable presence in the community in terms of, what is the air district and what do we bring to the region. We had a great event. We had Congresswoman Matsui come out and support us. Let me stop there, and maybe our chair or Supervisor Cerna want to add your perspective.
I think the only point here is that this was down in the South Sac community, in the area between, I think, District 8 and District 6 in the city, but also in the unincorporated county. And it really, you could see the tears in the families that were benefiting from this program, where their reliability of mobility was an issue, where they didn't know if they were going to be able to make it to work on time, and the ripple effects of that would happen if that didn't occur. And also, it was one of those hot days, so you could feel the difference in the air quality. So, maybe we shouldn't have been in suits that day. I do want to thank SMUD, who was there, because SMUD was a huge partner in this, and Mutual Housing. That they were very focused not only on providing affordable housing, but trying to find other mobility solutions.
Yeah, I would add that this was not just a celebration of a very innovative new program that's going to help a lot of families in our area, but it really represents some really thoughtful consideration of how we not only address our carbon and air quality challenges with the deployment of more zero-emission vehicles and use cap and trade resources wisely, but how do we also do that with an eye towards helping those that are living in disadvantaged communities here in our areas. So I think this is another feather in the cap of the district, another model for, quite frankly, for other air districts around the state to look to in terms of how they can do something similar and really help those that deserve it. So thank you.
What was the final number of funds that we received from the state for this?
$5 million from cap and trade and Volkswagen settlement.
For the county?
Yeah.
For the entire county. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
for our district. And all of you have information from the Madam Clerk, who sent you a flyer and some background information on the program. We'd be happy to resend it. for you so we can get it to the top of your inbox. But for the benefit of the rest of the board, this basically is a scrap and replace program where you turn in an old clunker high emitting, and we'll give you the financial help to try to get a plug-in low emission vehicle, new or used. It's strictly targeting low-income residents in our county, so that's a great economic leveraging point. And then the element that I'm most excited about, just because it's so innovative, is what we call scrap and forget, and that is, could you turn in your car and try to get around with the different mobility solutions that we have in the region? Microtransit, Uber, Lyft, the bikes, gig, et cetera. And for the participants that choose to go there, we're going to give them a Visa card loaded with $7,500 so they can use as they see fit. So again, trying to change the paradigm in terms of, can we envision a future where we can meet all of our needs without having to be so reliant on the vehicle? So great program.
Can I make two last points? One of them is one that I pointed out during my brief remarks at the event, and that is, this is a cumulative program, and by that what I mean is that on top of course, it's an income qualified program, but it also is on top of the federal and state credits that you get, CVRP credits from the state and federal credits, towards the acquisition of not just a new vehicle, but as our secondary market of zero-emission vehicles continues to expand, it gives families a great opportunity to acquire these zero-emission vehicles, in some instances at no cost, if you think about it, once all those credits are applied. And then I wanted to also just say that, again, I think this is a great example, a very tangible example of the use of cap-and-trade dollars. And I know that cap-and-trade still remains kind of a mysterious, very complex platform that the state uses to not just acquire funds, but to do what it's intended to do, which is reduce carbon emissions. But I would encourage my fellow directors that if you're building kind of a portfolio in the back of your minds of what cap and trade does that is affecting our constituents directly, this is a great example to cite when you have the opportunity to speak with your various constituencies and cite the terrific programs that we're doing at the local level, but taking advantage of state resources.
Yeah. Mr. Lemos is responsible for the program, and the day after, I think we were flooded with 600 calls, which is great, right? That's what we want. So if you have constituents, please get the word out, because this is on a first-come, first-served basis. And as I was telling some of the news media in interviews, we want to spend the money as quickly as possible, because that shows two things: that we know how to implement good programs, that we've reached success, so then we can go back and, with the supervisor's help, go to the state and say, give us more money so we can continue to do this kind of program. Let me complete. This is my last point, and this is simply because I need you to be aware of a new function, capacity that I've accepted. The Electric Transportation Community Development Corporation was recently formed. It's essentially a nonprofit that is pushing for equitable transportation electrification, very much modeled after the California Electric Transportation Coalition, that at least I know Supervisor Cerna is well aware of. Why we're interested? Because again, this is electrification of transportation. It's not only in our region, but certainly our region will benefit from being at the table. I was invited to join the board of this organization after concurrence with council. I accepted, and you can see some of the notable people that are on that board. Very excited, because I think again it's gonna lead to our ability to move the needle on these goals. With that, I'll conclude my report, and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you, Dr. Ayala, and I appreciate you bearing with us. And I know that this is a long report, but we've moved you a few times here. So, if there are no other questions from the board, then I'll ask the Madam Clerk to go to the next item on the agenda.
The next item is the consent calendar. Item 1, the July 25th, 2019 Board of Director meeting minutes. Item 2, public pay scale. Item 3, Air Pollution Control Officer Agreement Amendment. Item 4, contract with County of Sacramento Department of Revenue Recovery. Item number 5, contract amendment with Endeavor Consulting Group. Item 6, Clean Cars for All Program Development and Case Management Services Contract. Item 7, Community Air Protection Program Air Monitoring Trailer.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll ask for a motion from the board. It's been moved and seconded, but moved by Board Member Hanson, seconded by Board Member Terry. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, measure passes. Madam Clerk, go on to the next item.
Item number 8 on the discussion calendar, I have Cooling the Capital Region Update on Urban Heat Island Project, and I have Shelley Zhang to give the presentation.
Hi. Good morning, Chair Guerra and members of the board. My name is Shelley Zhang, and I am in the Transportation and Climate Change Division at the Air District. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak to you today about a topic that is very important to our future today, as well as the future of your children and grandchildren tomorrow. I am not typically a dramatic person, but here's the truth. We are facing an existential crisis. We are facing unprecedented, escalating changes to our global average temperatures that are taking us beyond the range of human experience. The planet is as hot now as it has ever been for the last 125,000 years, before modern humans walked the earth. Recent heat waves have spread the U.S., affecting over 195 million Americans. Cities from New York to Chicago have declared health emergencies for the heat wave. And the average number of days that we are expected to face above 100 degrees each year is growing rapidly. This will change summer as we know it. 9 of the 10 hottest years that have occurred have been since 2000. And this past June and July have been the hottest Junes and Julys we've ever faced. This year has a 99.9% chance of being among the top 5 hottest years in history as well. Warming temperatures have other dire impacts. The rising heat is baking our forests and our grasslands into a bone-dry state, so that one spark turns into a raging wildfire that burns at the rate of 1 football field per second. This has led to dire health, air quality impacts for Sacramento Valley, as well as other destruction and tragic loss of life. These weather and climate impacts are also affecting our local and regional economy. In 2014, the Lake Tahoe Ironman was canceled due to wildfire smoke impacts, with impacts for the regional economy beyond. Rising heat, drought, and warmer winters are also affecting our regional economy and our local agriculture, our fruit production, and our dairy cows. But this past spring has also been among the wettest years that we have ever known. In this spring, record flooding in the Great Plains and the Midwest have resulted in millions of acres flooded, and this year the USDA will be paying out $1 billion in crop insurance. The insurance industry and the ratings agencies are taking notice. The insurance industry have said that they will be starting to account for the impacts of climate change, as well as how cities are taking account of these risks when they're deciding their premiums and their bond ratings. This is what Moody's Investors Insurance Service recently said that they would do, that cities that don't take action to address their climate vulnerabilities will face a decline in their credit rating in the future. And we're already facing the health impacts of climate change today. Warming and extreme heat pose risks to our young, our elderly, and our outdoor workers, while the recent wildfires last year have made our capital virtually unrecognizable, with air quality as worse as that of Beijing. But we do have good news. Climate change action can accomplish more than just reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Climate change action can help create the world that we want to see, a more equitable and just world with healthy and active transportation choices for all, with green jobs and new industries, lower energy bills for families, and clean air and zero emissions mobility for all communities. Extreme heat is a great example of how we have existing solutions today to address existing challenges. Sacramento already faces disproportionately more health impacts from heat than the rest of California as a whole, with more heat deaths and more heat emergency visits. Without climate change action, Sacramento also increasingly faces hotter days, with 5 times as many days above 100 projected by 2050. Thus, it's important to take action now so that we can alleviate the health impacts of these rising heat. That's why we developed the Capital Region Transportation Sector Urban Heat Pollution Project. This project is funded by $487,000 from the California Department of Transportation's SB1 Adaptation Planning Grant. The project timeline is from May 2018 to February 2020, and our project partners are the Local Government Commission, the Alto Stratus, and WSP. I'd like to provide you now with an interim report update before we complete the project in February. Our project is building a highly detailed urban heat island model for the Sacramento region that will not only capture what areas of our region face the worst heat impacts, but will also help us find out which mitigation measures are the most effective deployed in what areas. We are also combining this with community feedback from the community about how they're exposed to heat, as well as a database of transportation plans and projects. This will combine into a heat recommendation plan with best practices and strategies for local governments to implement in their local street design, their road plans and projects, so that they can build projects that are helping to reduce the urban heat island effect while being resilient to the impacts of heat. This is because the transportation infrastructure is vulnerable to heat. Built using mostly with dark asphalt, these roads will absorb more heat in the summer, leading to more wear and tear on pavements. One study says that without addressing our highway materials, the highway infrastructure will face $36 billion of maintenance costs by 2070 as a result of increasing heat. Here's an example of all the cooling measures that we are looking at. Albedo refers to how much heat or solar radiation a surface reflects. A cool roof or pavement is light-colored and has a high albedo, allowing it to reflect more heat and be more cool. This also enables the roof, for cool roofs, the building underneath it will also save energy, being 27 degrees cooler than a house with a dark roof. A dark asphalt or a dark roof has a low albedo that is closer to 0, and that absorbs the heat, creating the urban heat island effect. So albedo is one of the cooling measures that we're looking at. Tree canopy is another critical measure that we're evaluating in our study. Trees help to cool cities by providing shade and providing evapotranspirative cooling. And another very innovative part of this project is that we're evaluating the cooling benefit of electric vehicles. A conventional gas-powered vehicle produces waste heat through the engine, making it very hot. You'll notice this if you ever try to touch your car after a long drive. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, don't release waste heat from their engine. Thus, if a city were to have a substantial proportion of cool electric vehicles in their fleet, they could become up to 1 to 2 degrees cooler. This here is an example of the urban heat island effect for our city. These colors do not refer to absolute temperatures, but rather to the temperature difference between the urban areas and their surrounding cooler areas. Downtown city Sacramento is in the lower left there, with the AB 617 communities outlined in black. And then to the northeast, you can see Citrus Heights, Roseville, and Auburn. You might also notice that this is the direction in which the heat is traveling. This is because, like our air pollution, our heat is moved to the northeast by the prevailing winds and currents. You can also see from the bar charts on the right that some of our AB 617 communities have substantially higher urban heat island impacts than other communities, as do the cities of Citrus Heights, Arden, Roseville, and Auburn. However, implementing cooling benefits can help to lower these urban heat island impacts. This will show the cooling benefits of implementing tree canopy and lighter colored cools roofs and pavements at 1 p.m. This is a benefit of a 12% increase in our tree canopy cover, producing cooling of 1 degree. This is a larger increase in tree canopy cover by 20%. This shows a cooling benefit of an increase in albedo by 0.15, which is a fairly small increase for our roads and pavements. This is a slightly larger increase in roof albedo and pavement. And finally, this is the most significant impact that I want to draw your attention to. This scenario shows the combined benefits of 12% increase in tree canopy and a 0.35 increase in albedo, which are both achievable goals for our region. This brings a maximum of 7 degrees of cooling in the urban heat island effect at 1 p.m., which, if you remember from the previous slide, this will be enough to cancel out the impact of the urban heat island effect in many of the worst affected communities. And we also want to point out that the urban heat island impacts both the benefits and the impacts of urban heat island are regional, with South Sacramento having great potential for implementing solutions due to their historically low tree canopy and high amount of paved surfaces. But you can see here that the benefits spread beyond the region. This is a closer look at our AB 617 communities with urban heat island mitigation benefits. This shows the implementation of lighter colored cool pavements in the transportation plans and projects in the AB 617 communities. It results in these road surfaces being cooler by 24 degrees Fahrenheit, which can help reduce wear and tear and maintenance costs for roads. This also translates into a 9 degrees cooler temperatures at the human above air level, about 6 feet above ground. This means that it can reduce the risk of heat-related illnesses and also help reduce ozone formation. And finally, for the last portion of our project, I want to briefly introduce the community outreach that we've done as part of this work. We wanted to gather community input on how they're exposed to heat, as well as the transportation challenges and mobility needs that they're facing, as well as what community measures and neighborhood improvements and transit service improvements they're most interested in. To inform our outreach, we conducted listening sessions with community leaders and nonprofit leaders, and then we developed an 18-question questionnaire to find out about the community's neighborhood priorities and regional priorities. In order to be as equitable and reach as broad an audience as possible, we translated our survey into 8 languages based on the demographics information of the 6 counties. And we also provided small incentives and prizes for people to participate. We didn't want to burden communities by having them come to our workshops and events at the end of their busy days, so our approach was to go directly to community events and festivals that were taking place in the community. We didn't want to also go to only events that environmental people would go to, so we selected a range of community events that families and people of many interests would go to. And some of these include an Easter egg hunt, a Latino neighborhood association celebration event, Asian New Year celebration events, almond festivals, health events, and a mariachi festival. Here's an example of some of the survey results that we have found. Although I have to note that our survey was not a scientific survey, these results actually do parallel some of the other results that more scientific surveys have found. Based on these results, there were over 1,600 results that we obtained over the course of 6 months, a combination of both online and in-person responses. 82% of the respondents from Sacramento County said that they found that climate change was a very important issue for them. And 15% said that it was somewhat important. This is very close to a statewide scientific survey conducted by the Public Policy Institute of California, which said that 78% of statewide residents said that climate change was very important to them. We also asked respondents how much they would be willing to pay to address these issues. Over 2/3 of respondents in Sacramento County said that they would be willing to pay an annual tax of $11 or more to address these issues.
I have a question here from Board Member Cerna.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt your
Board
flow
Member
here.
Cerna.
No problem.
I just want to get some clarity on these last two slides in the statement about respondents from Sacramento County. Is that respondents from Sacramento County, regardless if they're living in the cities or in the unincorporated area?
Yes, it's based on their zip code that they provided, and it's both cities and counties.
Okay, thank you.
Now, this isn't a scientific survey, but Dr. Ayala, we participated with a empirical study with Sac State, and I can't remember the name of the report.
Validation was here not long ago, and the board heard a report from their scientific survey, and I think Ms. Yang also pointed out another survey that has come out, and the results from this particular project are internally consistent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may continue.
And the survey also respondents, 45% of the respondents from this county said that they would be willing to pay $21 or more to address these issues. And I want to also highlight that these were not just people with higher household incomes. We actually, our survey achieved a fairly even distribution of responses from all income levels. And so I think that the results of the study so far are showing that there is great potential for local jurisdictions to take the action to address the urban heat island effect. Our study results show that urban cooling measures can have substantial impact on reducing the urban heat island, while also our community feedback surveys show that there is strong public support for taking these actions. So now I want to just take a few minutes to quickly tell you how local jurisdictions can take action on the heat island effect.
Thank you. And I do want to be conscious of time here. We have another secret report after this as well.
Yes, this will be fast. So one key action that local jurisdictions can take is to adopt local ordinances or incentives encouraging people to, when they're doing a new roof or repairing their roof, to adopt a cool roof with a higher albedo. Public Works departments can also change their design guidelines, their engineering manuals, and their other transportation standards to allow for the use of cool and permeable roads and pavements when they're constructing roads. Local agencies can also strengthen their urban tree canopy ordinances, inspect their parking lots for parking lot shade ordinance and compliance, and also help fund the maintenance of existing trees. Road repair work and complete streets projects can be a great opportunity to put in new trees on streets. And also, local jurisdictions can also support land use plans that support complete streets, bike lanes, more tree canopies, active transportation, and a vibrant mix of residential and commercial uses. Through these actions and many more, we can still turn our course. It is not too late to stop climate change. With strong climate action and good public support, we can still make the choices that will help our planet avoid the most catastrophic levels of climate change and build a future that we want to see. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We have a couple questions here. I have Board Member Frost first, and then I have Board Member Natoli. And just to remind the board, again, this is part of the Capital Region Transportation Sector Urban Heat Pollution Project, which for short we will call it the CRTSUHPP. Board Member Frost.
I just wanted to ask if it's possible to get a copy of the complete report.
Yes.
For our review.
The complete report will be done in February 2020, and we would be happy to send you copies.
Thank you. And that'll include all the surveys and everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Board Member Natoli.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of questions. Thank you for your presentation. In the discussion about the street pavements and how you can lower the heat retention and deflection of the heat, have you had conversations with Public Works directors? Because a lot of the things that you see are standardized. It relates to white striping. So if you have a white pavement or a white street, then you're going to have to figure out your pavement insignias. I'm sure they can do that. Also, I guess resiliency, the life cycle for those products, what they mean to drainage runoff, and you know, how porous the material is, and so forth. So have you had those conversations? Because it's one thing to, you know, show that it can be done. What, you know, obviously it can be. But then, you know, how that factors into a lot of other things that relate to costs and to the ability then to, you know, have some consistency. And I can see in parking lots and so forth where you have, you know, less throughput. Nonetheless, you have, you know, obviously the heat issues. So I guess I'm curious about, you know, how much outreach has been done in that front.
Yes, so there is actually a wide range of cool pavement technologies, and some of them have been tested less and some of them have been tested more. Concrete is very widely used in the South, in Texas particularly, as it has high albedo and has the good load bearing and traffic volume support. Roseville, the city of Roseville, is doing roller compacted concrete in some of its streets right now. The current phase of our project that we've just been completing is the modeling and the sort of the scientific analysis, and the next phase of our project will be when we go out to reach out to public works departments and agencies. So that's coming up next for our project.
Yeah, and I recognize again the urgency, and certainly your presentation reflected that, and I thought you did a very nice job of kind of weaving that in. But the pictures you showed people painting something on a surface, either, you know, the white material, so that wasn't concrete being laid. And I understand that product can obviously has a higher initial cost. I don't know what the life cycle is, but you know, we all struggle with that jurisdictionally, but we have this other issue. So what were your graphics showing? That wasn't a new installation, that was over a...
That was, I think that's a Cool Seal, which is currently being trialed by the Los Angeles right now.
Okay, so that's being experimented with or piloted in some other communities in California. The Cool Seal is what you call it?
Yeah, it's called Cool Seal with no space in the middle. I think that one is basically you're painting it on over existing asphalt. So that's a low-cost modification that you can do for an existing road. Whereas, for example, roller compacted concrete would be when you're repaving.
So is that impermeable? Is that just, or is it, you know, how does it adhere, or is that what they're testing out to see how long it lasts in certain environments, hot and cold and all the...
Yeah, I think that it basically, they're painting it on and it dries. It is impermeable. There are other pavements that are permeable that also have a cooling benefit. I think this one is a result of a study that's actually ongoing right now, so they'll be able to produce results about how well this particular material performs.
Okay. So there more information is forthcoming, obviously still in some, you know, I say trial periods, I guess, if that's a fair way to characterize it. Just wanted to just shift. In this other photo you have here is a good example, the tree canopy, and obviously, you know, the city of Sacramento in lots of realms is known as, you know, city of trees, and we have a lot of trees. But one of the things that certainly, and it may relate to hotter summers and so forth, but I think it's been notable in a number of neighborhoods. You know, even mature trees without, you know, not just the care and nurturing, but sufficient water. And I think since the drought, obviously that stressed trees, but you know, it's been notable to me anyway, and going through neighborhoods throughout the county and even in the region, where I think part of it relates to the high cost of water. And you can do things that you obviously change out, but a lot of the change outs don't incorporate trees. They may have shrubs in them, and you know, and work around an existing tree. I would just say that I think that as you're having a conversation, kind of going back to the practical aspects, that if we're going to encourage trees, how then for homeowners, a lot of times maybe even being in rental situations, how we encourage them again to do things that allow those trees to thrive in the environment, because they are key. I have no disagreement, and I think that you know, the more we can do. And in fact, I find it very sad when you drive through areas, even some business parks and such, and you see fairly mature trees that are just, you know, they're dying or dead, and that's a result of neglect. But I think it's also a result of some folks making choices about how much water they're going to use to keep that landscape green and keep those trees alive. And that's, you know, and that's again, that's those choices people make every day about, you know, where they're going to spend their dollar. And I'll just give you one example very quickly here. That I was at a community meeting last week, and folks in an area in our county where it's a fairly compact neighborhood, lady told me her water bill was $537 last month, and she had the ability to pay that. But she said they're making choices about. I'm thinking $537 for your water for 1 month. So, and that may be an extreme situation, and I don't know what the yard and any of that, but I think that as we look at that, and certainly how precious water is and how precious our clean air is, and the whole thing with climate change, I think we need to keep that as a consideration to how we help folks along the path to make sure that canopy thrives. So, thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Natoli. And I think to that point, part of I think the bigger message here is future planning and thoughtful planning. I mean, when we talk about the tree canopy, most of our city, particularly the city of Sacramento and older cities, irrigation was designed in a way to keep the grass green and not necessarily focused on the most efficient way to water tree. And obviously, the cost of maintaining a lawn versus the cost of the health of a tree is much more expensive on maintaining the lawn. But that's because we've had to think now about the different methods of irrigation. And so I think if Board Member Harris was here today, he'd probably give us a lecture on the appropriate way to water our trees, which would be much more cost effective than actually our lawns. But that's a new education point. Our old infrastructure isn't designed for that, and so as we move forward to do that, if this is going to be a priority, then that's an important thing to think about, that part of the infrastructure. And I would say that my brief stint at the Transportation Laboratory, I think the study of pavement is something that our region actually has had some history with. So I would actually like to hear the next step for this. I'd like to get back maybe either from both our experts at Davis or Sac State or even Caltrans to find out what is that cost comparison of pavement, so that our public works departments are aware of that. Public works departments right now are fixing potholes, and that's where they're focusing their energy on. I think one thing that an added value that this air district could provide is a level of research that could be brought back to our public works departments on that. And then I have Board Member Frost.
I also wonder if we can somehow find some solution. One of the problems that we have is that historically we have watered our lawns and our trees have not received the proper deep water that would encourage their roots to grow deep, and so the roots are shallow